threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Yeah. We are still in the future of survival, yeah.
I like that. Yeah, we gotta
have along with the beat.
We gotta do like a little jingle every time we get to that part and
yeah.
sing along with it, like a new jingle every time.
Jingle.
Yeah, Cam, we are deep in the bowels of the future of survival, right?
Familiar with this area.
Yeah, yes, sir. And
the future of survival, man. It's been so weird, and I know that there are people out there like, what? This is weird stuff. Why are you talking about it? Or believe that. The thing is, we're not trying to tell you that this is like what we believe is going to happen.
Yeah.
But just like we've talked about zombies and aliens, it's like we're talking about stuff, and this is even more realistic.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This stuff can and is kind of happening.
Yeah.
To what extent is the future? The future will tell. But
that's right.
The thing is, like, we may or may not believe in it, and I don't want you to like take it so serious. But you have to think about it because things are changing. Okay,
they really are.
But we're going to talk about genetic engineering that is happening and has been happening.
It really has.
But we're going to talk about weird stuff like lab-grown organs.
Dude,
my grocery store's got that going on right now.
Yeah, they definitely do, yes.
Disease-resistant crops, CRISPR, and genetic editing. Somebody say crispier?
Ooh, anything that's crispier, I'm all for. You know?
Oh, man. Disease-resistant crops that are crispier, I'm listening. But yeah, this is changing survival because we should embrace or reject it because it's going to change everything about bioengineered food, how we get it, how long it lasts, medicine, what it can do for us, what it will lead to if, we may be forced to accept some of this. And human enhancements. I want some human enhancements.
I would love to get enhanced in some way.
Would have loved to have been 6 foot, but I'm not.
No.
In more than one place.
6
foot.
But
yeah, we're going to talk about genetic engineering and how it's reshaping agriculture, medicine, and humanity for us as preppers and survivalists.
Yeah, definitely something to, tickle your brain.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, for sure. I do have to tell you about BattleBox, though. It is the monthly subscription box full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual preppers. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of hand-picked outdoors, survival, and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you'd normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, but here's a sampling of what users received this month. The DEF CON 5 backpack. Cam just tried it on today. The Yukos Stormproof matches. I love Stormproof matches, man. Yeah. Those are great things to have around.
There's a storm, go light it up.
Yeah, just light it up.
There's a storm, let's go start a fire.
That's right. All this badassness starts at just $34.99 per month. They've shipped over 1 million boxes and won Best Subscription Box of 2020. Our listeners get 15% off when you sign up at battlebox.com/casualpreppers. Get your first battle box and 15% off at battlebox.com/casualpreppers.
Done.
So let's start talking about this genetic engineering revolution. What even is that? You might be thinking, what are you boys even talking about here?
This ain't prepping.
Yeah. And in a way it is. And again, like Cam mentioned, these episodes are really to get you thinking about different things on the cusp of happening here in the near future that might affect the way that you prep.
Yeah. They're hard because we always look at like past historical things and like how we prepare for what has happened.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard with this, like hard to understand like what's going to happen.
We don't know what's going to happen. But when we get to talking about genetic engineering, I think a really good place to start is CRISPR. And
that sounds like such a good name for,
like a soda.
George Foreman CRISPR.
Like a soda, though.
Yeah.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, that sounds
You know
like
what I mean?
CRISPR.
Crack open a CRISPR. Yeah.
Have a CRISPR.
But so CRISPR, what is it? It's a gene editing tool, basically, and it's changing how we approach a lot of different things in health and food, and gonna probably change the way we approach survival pretty soon. It stands for Clustered Regularly Interspersed interspaced short palindromic repeats.
Way more confusing than just
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
It's a long name for what is essentially highly accurate genetic scalpel. So basically, it works. It lets these scientists cut out very specific pieces of DNA, swap them with something else, which just sounds like an impossible thing to do.
Want a monkey tail?
Yeah.
Boom. Put it in there.
You got it, boy. Sign up right now to get your monkey tail. CRISPR. So basically, it's somewhat like you're editing a document, right? You find a typo, you delete it, or you find a word you don't like, you want a better word, you put it in there. And they're doing this really at the molecular level on living organisms. It's so crazy. But why is it a big deal? We've had things similar to this before, but they were much more expensive. They were really slow. They weren't very precise. But this one is much better. It's much, much better. It's opening up a lot of possibilities that really used to feel like they were sci-fi, completely sci-fi stuff.
For sure.
They can cure inherited diseases. They can build drought-proof crops. It's not just on humans. This is really anything that has DNA in some way, shape, or form. And it's not theoretical. Labs, farms, startups are using CRISPR right now. People are using it to do this gene editing, which is crazy. Agriculture is one of the big places. They're using it to make crops that survive in tough conditions. So we're going to talk about it's a cool thing. It's a good thing if you don't want people to starve, but we don't know really what kind of havoc it can wreak in the future. Is a little bit scary, but it's also cool, right? Also in medicine, they can cut out disease-causing mutations. Maybe they can even stop pandemics before they spread, possibly.
There's some exciting stuff with this. It sounds creepy, but it's anytime you get a cancer diagnosis, you do gene testing to see where where there's a problem in the replication of your DNA, and they can cut that part out.
Yeah, we'll
That's amazing.
We'll talk about what the future is going to look like with that stuff because it's crazy. And then the last thing is human enhancement. And ethically it gets a little bit muddy here because you could use it to boost muscle,
sign me up.
Boost memory, maybe increase your lifespan. We're going to talk about that even more in the next episode. Vocabularies.
That'd be great.
I need that vocabulary gene.
Splice out that.
Pull it in
between my brain and my tongue.
Give me a couple more.
Better.
Couple extras.
Something to run a little better there.
Agriculture. Food security obviously is a survival fundamental. But this genetic engineering is kind of reshaping how that is handled. They are modifying plants so that they're able to resist the different types of pests. They can tolerate droughts. They can grow faster in really crappy soil. It's so crazy that they can do this.
Imagine growing a banana tree here in the high desert
in your bathroom or something.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and it's happening. Well, you had some experience with this just recently.
Oh yeah.
Right?
So for Mother's Day, we bought my mom petunias that have been crossed with the genetics of a mushroom that glows.
Mm-hmm.
So you have bioluminescent. I was about to say the medical term, perineum.
Oh, sure.
You want a glowing perineum? You got it.
No, thank you.
But the petunias glow at night because they have this bioluminescent gene in them from the mushroom. That's insane.
That is
so.
Insane,
that's really pretty, but that just shows you what they can do.
They could do some.
I think they should
crazy
make
stuff.
everything glow.
Why
personally?
not? Everything,
look like Avatar.
We won't even need to have streetlights anymore.
No,
what's that? Plants
She's
that
got
glow.
big old trees that are glowing.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's great because it can be a game changer for preventing famines, and maybe this climate change thing is the real deal. And there's again, and so a lot of this stuff can really help in some of that stuff. There has been some real world applications that I wanted to bring up because I thought they were kind of cool. Researchers used CRISPR to delete a single gene that causes browning in white mushrooms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So basically, these mushrooms now stay fresh longer.
Oh, wow.
Because of this CRISPR gene editing. And the USDA ruled it didn't need regulation like a GMO because no foreign DNA was added. They just pulled out. They just pulled out some DNA.
That's weird.
So again, it's a little murky because it does feel like a GMO.
You ain't putting anything in? Okay.
Just gonna take some stuff out. Right?
That's interesting. Though.
CRISPR has been used to knock out a susceptibility gene in rice that makes the plant vulnerable to bacteria, blight, and blast fungus.
Huh?
You don't want blast fungus.
No.
If you didn't know. So the edited rice plants showed increased resistance without losing yield and quality.
I like that.
So that's great stuff, right?
Seems good anyway.
Yeah. They also used it to modify genes tied to water use and root growth in corn. Early trials suggested improved resilience under drought stress. So
That would be helpful.
corn's getting better. This is my favorite one. A Japanese startup used CRISPR to increase levels of GABA. So it's a calming amino acid.
Yeah, it's like alcohol.
Yeah, in tomatoes.
I'm addicted to tomatoes.
Yeah, so like these tomatoes were approved for sale in Japan.
Wow.
Without GMO labeling and hit grocery stores in 2021.
Everybody's just like chill.
So yeah,
They're just like calm.
yeah,
eating a
it's
tomato.
just marketed as a functional food with potential stress reducing
That's
benefits.
cool, man.
Yeah. Anyways, there's a lot of different
But
things.
who knows?
I don't know. Those people could all be dead by now. We don't know. But those are some of the types of things that they're using with this on the agriculture side. But also medicine. This is where I think I get the most interested in this because things like gene therapy, it's already being used in clinical trials to treat really rare inherited diseases, like sickle cell anemia.
I don't want
bad stuff.
I don't want some of the genes that my parents have passed on.
Absolutely not. Get rid of those, please, if we can. So it's like, yeah, like it can really help people with these things that they don't really have any control over otherwise. You know what I mean?
Gattaca stuff.
The Gattaca stuff. Some researchers are working on growing entire organs from your cells, eliminating the need for donors.
It's like, what's that movie? The Island?
Oh yeah, The Island. I
There's
forgot.
just like
they're just humans.
a whole humans that
That's
they're harvesting from.
That was actually an interesting movie.
It was an interesting movie. I like that movie.
It wasn't bad, huh?
No, it wasn't bad.
And then,
disturbing. But
others are looking at how we could use genetic editing to boost immunity, to fight cancer, or to even slow aging at the cellular level.
sign me up to eliminate cancer,
I
man.
know it's the worst thing in the world. It really is.
Not have that worry constantly. That'd be great.
But anyways, this is like really promising for health, but it also raises those big concerns like who gets access, what could go wrong, all those other things that we always think about. And then like the most controversial, I think, is like, the human enhancement aspect of this. Biohackers, scientists are trying to edit genes for increased strength, higher intelligence, longer lifespan. And then like there's that whole idea of designer babies. Like you basically design your baby. Yeah. It doesn't come out like baby barely alive or whatever. It comes out like a great baby.
Baby baseball star.
Yeah. Baby already has a contract to play for the Yankees,
just bulky, ready to freaking
already swinging a bat.
It's like, dang, look at that baby.
Born with a hand.
Came out walking,
mitt
walked
hand,
home.
Has a mitt hand. You know what I mean? Just like perfect.
Came out and finished sewing up everything. He's already
Exactly.
smart enough.
Yep. So China has sort of been on the cutting edge of this in a bunch of different ways, which is
That's what gets so weird. It's like, regulations with different countries leads to like
I know.
potential like scary stuff.
It does, yeah. So Chinese scientist He Jiankui used CRISPR to edit embryos for HIV resistance.
Wow.
Very interesting. And so he had twin girls here, Lulu and Nana. They became the first known gene-edited humans.
Wow.
The experiment was widely condemned, and he was jailed for 3 years for doing this.
Wow.
So,
Just did it? Just like, I'm gonna do it.
some people are like, well, the Chinese government knew this was going
Hey,
on.
you can come quick. You can't do that.
Hey. They're saying like they were in cahoots. They're doing it anyways in the background is what they're saying. Also in 2016, China launched the world's first CRISPR human trial editing immune cells to better attack cancer, especially lung, esophageal, and prostate cancers.
2016?
2016 they've been.
Jeez Louise.
So it's been almost 10 years they've been doing this, which is crazy. They also using CRISPR to edit bone marrow cells to treat beta thalassemia. Exactly. That's what I was going to say, Cam. But here's
just like that stuff makes sense, man. It's
I know,
like,
it really
if
does.
we can get rid of that stuff.
The embryo editing scandal triggered global concern, leading to stricter calls for regulation and a pause.
We want thalassemia.
Give us back our disease.
Seriously. It's like, I understand.
Like there are
it's human trials, right?
Yeah, so it's a little
We don't even
scary.
test lipstick on baby seals anymore.
No.
So why are we doing this?
I don't know why we have baby seals if we're not putting lipstick on them. What are they good for? Otherwise.
Put that eyeshadow on there. Those eyelids fell off.
Putting eyeshadows on raccoons now. We don't know what to do.
And China's doing it.
They're doing it.
They're getting rid of
They got
weird
pandas over there with all the makeup on.
Exactly.
You know?
You can't tell me pandas weren't some genetic experiment
yeah.
that they're like, it's natural.
Whoops.
For it to look this way, be super dumb and eat with its bamboo.
Kind of walk around human-like, but not really. Well, that's a bear.
Just looks like there's a person in that costume.
No, that's a bear. No, that is not a bear.
That's not.
That's not a bear.
You made that.
That's a human-bear hybrid, my friend. I don't care
Somebody
what you
got
say.
real carried away with their.
Great job, though.
Yeah.
Because they're fun to watch.
They are fun
I'll
to
give you
watch.
that. So, like, China is kind of both like a cautionary tale and a pioneer in legitimate CRISPR medical applications. But here's the thing: who knows what they're really doing over there? I really think they have some super soldiers that are about 5 or 6 years old now that they're just waiting for them to mature.
Yeah.
You know, what was the one of the Star Wars where there was like a freaking ton of clones of wasn't there
Like Drone Wars?
no, it wasn't Drone Wars. What maybe
Clones of kids?
yeah, wasn't there a bunch of like the same person that was cloned in one of the Star Wars?
Well, I thought all the stormtroopers were.
Maybe that's what
They
it
were
was.
all the same. That's what was so weird
But
about
were
the
they?
whole thing.
They were a certain person. They cloned.
They were.
right?
I thought it was like Boba Fett.
That's
right?
what it was. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
All the Star Wars
Boba
fans.
Fett
You
was
guys are
all-
so stupid. You watch your mouth. Yeah, I know. Don't you dare talk about Boba Fett like that. But anyways,
How are they not getting this?
I'm gonna write them an email right now.
I can't listen anymore.
So anyways, if enhancement becomes normal for the wealthy, this survival game could be a little bit skewed here very soon, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not about like who's got the best skills or the bug out bags. It's like who's got the extra 40 pounds of muscle.
Who's immune to everything?
Who can't get sick.
Oh,
Who's got an 8-foot schlong hanging off their body.
all the women in the U.S. are gone.
They're all gone.
They all went to another country.
They're all in China now. Yeah.
Went from one extreme to another.
That was a low blow.
That was a low blow.
Low blow.
Pun intended.
Pun intended. And panda bears over there. Hung like bears.
Yeah. Sorry about that comment.
So anyways, survival could get real weird.
It can get really weird.
Really weird.
Yeah. So, how genetic engineering could reshape survival. So let's talk about the food aspect of it. Like, people lose their minds over GMO, right? It's kind of a scary thing. You don't really know. And so let's talk about like a case for GMO foods.
Mm-hmm.
So like you were saying, you have crops that could survive droughts with all the like changes on our planet and things like that. We talked about that already, of possibilities of higher temperatures and depletion in soil, things like that. If they can tweak the crops to grow better in all environments, like that's kind of a big deal, man.
Oh, for sure.
That would help food issues forever.
Mm-hmm.
Could end global food shortages and malnutrition. And then lab-grown meats. You don't even have to kill an animal anymore, man.
delicious.
You just grow a steak.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me.
Give me a couple ribeyes grown by next week.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do it.
No, that is weird. And then higher crop yields.
I want a real dead cow. That's what I want.
Slit its throat. I want blood everywhere.
Give me some blood.
Yeah.
Put a little salt on it.
So
that's it.
that's what I wonder. Like, if
Yeah,
it's
I know.
lab-grown meat, can you get it rare?
I don't know.
Or is
Well, yeah, I
it
would
even
think
have
so.
blood in there?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah,
I don't even know what to think about that.
Rare.
Better nutrition foods can be modified to have more vitamins and other good stuff.
I like vitamins.
Like double your protein, man. That would be nice, right?
Double your pleasure.
One breast
Double your fun.
gives you double the protein.
God, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Crops that can be made to grow in difficult environments, like we were saying, and animals can be made more resistant to diseases.
Oh.
So you don't lose a whole herd to some disease.
Whole herd of panda bears down like that. You know?
Yeah. So, and then faster breeding.
Oh, heck yeah.
You can get rabbit-style breeding and multiplication in all animals.
Jeez. Can you
Have a
imagine
cow
like,
that shoots out like six calves.
elk are having like, 10 elk a year?
That'd be crazy.
Oh, my gosh.
Or like, what if you had one chicken that laid 3 or 4 eggs a day?
yeah.
It'd be a lot easier to take care of 2 or 3 chickens
Sure,
to
heck yeah.
supply eggs for the whole town.
You ain't lying.
So maybe there's some good things, right?
Could be.
But there's also some risks.
Yeah.
Long-term health effects that we have no idea about.
No, we don't.
Who knows what it could do to us consuming these genetically modified foods.
Let me have a sip of this energy drink.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want anything impure. And then potential monopolization of food by biotech corps.
Yeah.
If they can do all this stuff and tweak it, then
They become like evil
greed
corp.
leads.
Yeah.
And then the loss of biodiversity. If engineered crops dominate, natural plant diversity could disappear.
Yep.
Like going to Hawaii and talking to them, like they said, like the native plants there's only like 2%.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That
So
is
it's like
crazy.
if you start creating these different plants, that'll just take over and you lose a lot of the natural stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to lose any of those goat heads. They're real useful.
Yes, sir.
And then allergies. New genes could create allergic reactions in some people. And then it's even harder to like determine how to treat it. I could eat grapes, but this one that's the size of a melon, can't do it.
Can't do it.
You get
No.
bubble gut.
Oh, melon grapes.
That'd be great.
Yeah. I'd be all about it.
How would you eat all that stuff in the middle?
I'd figure it out. I'd figure it out. Slice it up.
Stick a straw in there, suck it out.
Suck it out.
Man, the outside layer that big would probably be like as thick as a basketball.
You'd have to get a pocket knife to cut through that thing.
And then just squirt all that goo out.
Squirt it right on your friends. Take that, grape in your face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's right.
Modified genes could spread like to wild plants, gene flow. So you get kind of evolution of creepy, like you get like what are those plants? The Venus flytraps that are swallowing humans.
Oh God,
because who knows?
That would not be good.
But tweaking genes leads to what's that book that we just
I got a
read?
tweak in my genes.
When they were so we read
What
a book, the Hail Mary.
Oh yeah,
Just how they were like trying to modify this.
Mm-hmm.
I won't ruin the book for you.
It's a great book,
It's
though.
a really good book.
Yeah, Project Hail
But
Mary.
when they were modifying, they were getting side effects from like evolution of these things
Yeah.
to be resistant to certain. Anyways,
Who
so
knows
that's
what
what
could
happens. Like you're creating good things, but it's leading to the evolution of worse things.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting stuff. Maybe bigger insects too. That'd be a
Dude.
creepy thing.
I don't want that.
No, they're eating these plants and then becoming like super bugs.
Like mosquitoes the size of birds or something.
Yeah. Grasshoppers just snap kittens' heads off.
Oh, dang. Daddy Longlegs as big as your house.
It's dandy long legs.
Dandy Longlegs.
That's what I call them forever.
Dandy Longlegs, yeah.
They're
That's
like,
almost
what did
as
you
bad
just
as
call 'em?
Daddy. Daddy Longlegs.
Daddy.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah. But yeah, the other thing is, and then super weeds, like we were saying. Corporate control. A few big companies control seed markets. Like we already kind of see that now,
Yeah.
like with agriculture. Like I've seen that, you see all the farmers that have posted all their different seed types and they're usually modified.
Oh, they're almost all are.
Yeah, so
right?
it's creepy. And that gets worse and it gets to be more dominant and it's controlled by just a few corporations. So we get like, the big pharma into all these other type of things. Creepy. And then the thing is that genetic modifications could have unintended side effects. You might be consuming some of this and then have a 7-fingered child, 3-eyeballed kid. I don't know.
7 fingers on one hand, or
And how do
just
they tie
total?
it to diet? It's kind of a hard thing.
Yeah.
So what?
7 fingers on one hand, or just total?
All total.
Oh, just total, like 3 and 4.
Or it can't
or
be even.
3.5 on each
Exactly.
side.
It's like a finger in between each finger.
That'd be so weird.
That'd be weird.
Can
You
you
swim
imagine?
real fast.
Yeah, but
Like
you could
almost
like
like
do
webbing.
this,
You can hold your old hand.
You can hold your own hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives me comfort to just close my fingers on each other.
God, that'd be crazy.
That'd be weird. Now, like the medical revolution, you were talking a little bit about this too. So the case for bioengineered medicine, gene therapy could eliminate inherited disease like sickle cell, anemia, and cystic fibrosis. Those things that you just don't have control over. You inherit it and you're screwed. That sucks. So it'd be really nice if we could tweak some of that.
For sure.
Lab-grown organs could eliminate transplant wait lists. Get you a new liver, a couple weeks.
Yeah.
That would be
Easy.
huge. Genetic editing could boost immunity to pandemics. We could fight off everything.
Sure.
But there's also risks, like with the foods. Unintended mutations altering DNA could create new diseases.
We don't need any new ones.
We don't need
We
any
got
new
all
ones.
the ones we can
Seriously.
handle.
create some real complicated gene problems.
Yeah.
And then CRISPR as a bioweapon, governments or rogue scientists create engineered viruses, which that's happening.
Man, there's rogue scientists out there.
And then they just release it, and that's the thing that's super creepy is like they slowly been creating immunity amongst their own people, and then they just release this nasty one that wipes everybody else.
And they're
out.
all good.
Didn't do anything. I don't know what happened.
We lived, you died.
Foo, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then medical monopolies, advanced treatments may only be available to the wealthy. It's like, we can fix you, but it's going to cost you.
It's going to cost you a lot of money.
If you have insurance, it's going to cost you more.
Yep.
Then the thing that you were talking about, like tweaking and designing your own child, that can go along with you too. Like genetic enhancement becomes the new class system. But you can't afford it, so it's only the wealthy elites that could edit intelligence, strength, and longevity. Like, the rich get richer
and stronger,
more
and
handsomer,
smarter, live longer.
Yeah, so that's kind of that sucks.
Yeah,
generation of enhanced perfect generation after generation of enhanced perfect humans. Like it leaves no space for us that do it naturally.
Yeah, are disgusting people over here.
Yeah, exactly.
All natty
scumbags.
Yeah,
you're all dumb. Yeah. So then the natural humans become like a second-class citizen in the enhanced world.
Yeah.
Like the star-bellied sneeches.
Yeah, and that's like isn't that like Gattaca basically?
Gattaca, yep.
In some way, shape, or form.
I
need to watch that again.
Yeah,
in a while.
Because it's like you won't have opportunities in certain careers and doing certain things because you did it. Like you became who you are naturally. There was no gene editing that you should have done. That
and you're not going to win the lottery like Brad Pitt did.
Exactly.
You're not going to be that guy.
Yeah, no.
I just saw the
preview
for that new F1 movie.
How
does he look so good still?
I'm
what is he doing?
I don't know.
He's got to be gene editing or something, right?
Gotta be.
God, he gets more handsome every day.
I know.
Pisses me off.
Wanted to be him in high school. Wanted to be him at 40 years old.
I remember when Fight Club came out. I'm like, that's a perfect human.
Yeah,
that's him. If anybody's wondering who it is, it's that guy.
I know.
Look at him, and he's still that guy.
Everybody wanted to be Tyler Durden.
Oh yeah, Tyler Durden, man. I wanted to be him so bad.
Yeah. And then the ethical dilemma: should people be allowed to select their child's intelligence and appearance?
Oh.
If you don't, then your child's screwed.
You're raising dum-dums that can't get a job at Burger King.
It's like the start of a new game. You can select, like, I always think of it as like almost more like cheating. You're like, I'm going to tweak my character on Madden NFL. I'm going to give him 99 of everything.
It's like Barry Sanders.
You can't just be like, I'm going to make it fair. I'm just going to go 100% on everything.
Yeah.
Can't tackle
fair. Can't tackle him.
You can't tackle
You can't tackle him.
Passes to himself. Touchdowns, everything. Tackles.
Yep.
He's amazing.
He's the best.
So if you don't do that, though, you're leaving
He's got
your
my
kid
name.
With,
I know who he is because he is me. In that game. It was always my name.
That was always, yeah. What if everyone else has the ability to do so? Like, are you doing a disadvantage? Is it a disadvantage to your kid by you not following along with this and leaving things
it's just
natural?
like when you don't get them in travel ball.
It's like nowadays, exactly.
They can't play any sports in high school.
Or like the elite athletes, if they're not doing some sort of supplement, they're not going to keep up with the rest of them. Yeah. Especially like Olympians,
Yep. No
not
doubt.
saying they all dope, but
many of them do.
Many of them do. And then, government enforces genetic modifications. It costs them a lot less if they can eliminate diseases that cost the whole, the government a lot of money. And if you don't do that, then you lose a ton of benefits.
You get rid of diabetes.
So as preppers, we must decide, should we embrace genetic tech for survival or reject it entirely?
I don't know.
Can you do either?
I don't know.
That's a tough one.
But what I do know is that electrolyte deficiency or imbalances can cause headaches, cramps, fatigue, and weakness. And as people want to be prepared and ready for anything, the last thing you need is something that will slow you down when you need to be ready the most. That's why we at Casual Preppers have teamed up with Element. It is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing that you don't. We think Element is perfect for bug-out bags and EDC kits because it contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio. 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. Casual Preppers listeners can get a free element sample pack when you make any purchase through our exclusive Casual Preppers link. That is one packet of every flavor. You can get it the first time, the 10th time, the 100th time you order, but you have to go to our link. That is drinklmnt.com/casual preppers. Get your free sample pack with any purchase. They also have the new lemonade flavor. Oh my gosh, you got to try it. It is delicious.
It's
so go
super good.
drinkelement.com/casual preppers.
Yeah, dude, go get that lemon.
It's so good.
Lemonade's so good.
It's delicious. So, what about food security in a bioengineered world here? You know, like as genetic engineering becomes the norm in agriculture, natural food sources may get harder to come by, like straight up natural food sources, right? Especially if Cam has been talking about big corporations lock down seeds and patents and all those things. It's like everything is like, you know, the Taco Bell tomato, you know, and they own all the
Anxiety
tomatoes.
taco.
That's right.
Anti-anxiety taco.
Anti-anxiety taco. What can you do here? I mean, one of the things you can do is grow your own food. You know, backyard gardens, indoor systems. You get a greenhouse like Cam has outside. Even smaller container setups give you direct access to unmodified, non-patented food. Right? It's very...
Get those heirloom seeds now, man.
Yeah, we're going to talk about heirloom seeds too, because that's a big part of it as well. Also, understanding GMO labeling. What is it? Because not all the labels are straightforward here. You know, there's terms like natural or
Natural
non-GMO.
GMO.
Yeah. Wait, what's that? A lot of times they don't mean what you think, so you need to understand what they are when you're buying that stuff. Like Cam said, preserve heritage seeds. Start a seed bank. Get those heirloom varieties. These seeds are open pollinated, non-engineered, and can be saved and replanted year after year. Straight up regular from God vegetables. Okay, put them in the dirt, God gives you a tomato.
Yeah.
That's what those are. So you can look at that kind of stuff. Watch the supply
Same
chain.
seeds Adam was using.
That's
So
right.
they've made it down to this point. But yeah, really, like
From the Garden of Eden.
I feel
directly.
good about having heirloom seeds
it's
stored
great.
away.
Keep an eye on which companies dominate the food market and like how dependent your local stores are on engineered or imported products. You know, if the system shifts, you're going to want options. You need to understand what that supply chain looks like.
What's Western Family's stance on this?
I don't know. We need to
That's
ask.
where
them.
I buy
Let's
everything.
get them on air. Medical tech advancing so fast, it's hard to keep up with, but so is the potential for control, access limitations, and inequality in this whole system. So look, use genetic tech where it makes sense. Like you could do that DNA testing that can give you a heads up on potential medical conditions, letting you plan your fitness, diet, and preps more intentionally. There's a lot of new stuff coming out with this where you can get your DNA tested and they'll give you like the exact diet plan for your body and like the exact diseases you need to be aware of. Like you can get it now and it's only going to get better as we get going. You can use things like stem cell and regenerative treatments. They're being used a lot for injury recovery and things like that. Not as much in the United States. I know it is being used, but like in Mexico, you can go get that done like
You can get whatever you want.
7-Eleven. You just do it wherever.
Yeah, exactly.
Really easy. And biohack diets and
Seven
supplements.
Revan. Or seven, what would be?
We're Mexican here.
Yeah. Sorry.
That was not the right
No.
thing, but that's okay. You tried. Biohack diets and supplements tailored to
They have a
your
hard
genetics.
time with the L. Well, no, they're good with the L.
They say all the
So it's a
time.
W.
Yeah.
Walmart.
Yeah. Sure.
Anyway, now that I've been racist,
Always have a backup. Learn basic
mean that.
herbal medicine. You know, yarrow, garlic, elderberry, honey, all that kind of stuff that you can use. It's always good to know. Alternative therapies for things like inflammation and digestive issues and pain and all that stuff. And then keep your body sharp, man. Fitness, clean eating, stress management, mental health. Really still your best defense in
still
all
do
of this
those
stuff.
things. You don't need any.
Yeah.
There's no harm in it.
So, like, should preppers embrace or avoid this? This is where it gets tricky. It's very personal, it's very controversial, and it's decisions you're going to face here in the near future, most likely. But think about it, though. If you could give yourself, like, better vision, stronger muscles, you know, better disease resistance, I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
But there's reasons why, but there's a lot of reasons for this, too.
Yeah.
It'd be nice. I'd love to be able to see 1,000 yards perfectly or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And be strong and muscly like Thor. I am not like Thor at all.
But maybe you want to stay.
Maybe I want to say
natural.
my scrawny,
My dad
natty
had
self.
prostate cancer. I'm gonna have prostate cancer.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
fate.
Yeah, that's how I like it. I like to wallow
out
in
that
it.
way.
Yeah. there's a risk of becoming dependent on upgrades too.
Yes.
We
already see that like in society.
Oh, yes.
Like the dependence on tweaking things that really don't need to be tweaked.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you see them ladies down there at the Botox clinics and just
see 'em.
going nuts, you know what I mean? And so, and also, what if something goes wrong with this tech? What if, staying human in the traditional sense may actually offer more long-term flexibility here? We don't know. We have to understand that. You might just want to go and, stay in the middle ground. You don't have to go full, cyborg, everything's edited.
True.
You might just, get your DNA
Get
test
rid of the
done,
bad.
get rid of the bad.
And then leave everything else
Yeah.
to happen.
Or leave everything else to fate, and then you get hit by a bus the next day. That's how it goes.
Exactly.
Okay. And then
Who's paying for this?
Yeah, think about
Got killed out in the parking lot.
financial preparedness, in a biotech-driven economy, because a future driven by genetic status and enhancements could bring a whole new kind of inequality. If machines and enhanced humans start dominating white-collar work, hands-on skills will still matter. So understanding farming and mechanical repair and wilderness medicine, all those things, those are all going to be great because it doesn't matter if you're a dum-dum. If you can do it with your hands, you're still valuable, right? Build your own toolkit here. Include natural supplements, off-grid treatments, fitness routines, low-tech ways to stay healthy is always good. And this also might sound a little bit sci-fi, but imagine being denied certain jobs or insurance or housing because your genome doesn't meet some sort of a weird corporate benchmark or something, or a governmental, benchmark of some sort. So preppers should be thinking now about how to operate outside a system if it does come to those types of things.
Work experience, gene modifications.
Yes.
Just write all
Yeah,
the
it's
ones
just-
down that you've done.
Exactly. It could get crazy.
We want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, let's talk about some of the best case and worst case scenarios with this.
Yeah.
So imagine a future where we've truly mastered our own biology. That'd be great, right? And what could it look like? Disease becomes history.
Yeah.
That would be great. Yeah. Picture a world where cancer isn't a death sentence. It isn't something that you're waiting to happen. Like you've seen it in all of your family members. You know that you have the same genetics and you're probably going to get it. Like it
Odds
would be
are.
so nice to get rid of that.
Yeah.
That worry be gone. And Alzheimer's, we're still trying to figure that out. If you could just eliminate it, heart disease, all of that stuff.
Alzheimer's
It
is
would
the
be
worst.
amazing. It is.
That's horrible.
Like just lose your mind and you don't even know it. No more waiting lists for organ transplants. And it's like some people have destroyed their organs and, you're like, well, you did this to yourself. Tons have not.
Yeah.
Viral causes, autoimmune problems that have destroyed an organ. It'd be really nice to not have to harvest it from someone else that unfortunately died.
Yep.
And you could replace that organ in yourself. That'd be great. Radical shift from treating sickness to just preventing it. Like you don't have to treat it anymore. You're just kind of it's done for and you prevent it. End to hunger, like you were saying, resistant corn and different all kinds of different stuff that can be grown anywhere, lab-grown meat. It would help hunger across the globe.
Yeah.
Be great things. And then the thing is, it's like you can now live your best life. Like you don't have to worry about health being in the way of things. It's like I see my parents, and it sucks because like they come and visit me, and I want to show them things, but they can barely walk anymore because like their hips are worn out. They've had like 10
age-related
replacement.
stuff. Yeah.
And it's like if we can prevent that degeneration of joints and things like that and live better, healthier lives, not just by doing exercise and all that, it'd be awesome. But what's the worst case? The rise of the enhanced. Yeah. So forget rich and poor. We're talking about literal biological divide. Yeah. The wealthy have access to genetic enhancements that boost intelligence, physical ability, disease resistance, perhaps even appearance that you can't keep up with. You can't afford to compete on that level.
It just makes the divide
and their kids
even
can do
further.
that too. Like they just get better, prettier, faster, stronger, bigger, hotter.
Hate them.
I don't like it. And that's a possibility. I mean, we see that in some ways already. Now it just becomes like at a level that you can't do anything about.
Yeah.
And is this going to leave preppers behind? In the future, natural food systems could be obsolete, replaced by patented, genetically controlled crops or lab-grown alternatives only accessible through a centralized system. Like you were talking, like you want to get that heirloom seed and you want to do all those things and skills. You got to still develop those because might not be available. Vital medicines are all advanced gene therapies or complex biologics. Preppers relying on stockpiled pharmaceuticals or natural remedies are completely shut out. You can't get that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
It's not used because you're doing prevention now. You're not doing treatment. You don't need any of that.
Yeah.
And if you choose not to go along with that and have all those diseases, can you even get anything to treat them?
Yeah.
And then the whole scare about warfare,
man.
edited genes creating biological weapons, enhanced humans that can do and fight stronger, better, more accurate, scary stuff. Engineered pandemics, release of viruses and things like that have been tweaked to basically kill off certain populations.
Like in a lab, and it got leaked from a lab.
Yeah,
like in China or something.
Can you imagine that?
Ugh.
And then it's like
Sounds
spread
horrible.
worldwide.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I don't even know what would happen.
But
It'd be
yeah.
crazy though.
So it's kind of like a silent warfare. Like no one pulls a trigger, but
People
certain
die.
things happen and tons of people die.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyways, that is kind of terrifying stuff.
It is very
So
terrifying.
There's some great things that could come from it and really bad things that could come
Yeah.
from it. But listen, there is one thing you can do to prepare. You can get yourself some Mad Gear. So Mad Gear, the name from the Trusted Preparedness, comes Ready Plan app. Just like our renowned contingency planner helps you prepare for hurricanes, power outages, and unexpected emergencies. The Ready Plan app digitizes that essential process. Organize every detail from specific condition responses and communication plans to evacuation routes and gear checklists, all securely stored and accessible on your device. You already have it on you.
Yeah.
Plus, easily share plans and coordinate with your family or preparedness group, ensuring everyone is on the same page. This is more than an app. It's your dynamic guide to readiness, built with the same step-by-step logic found in our physical planners. Developed by family and veteran-owned Mad Gear, Ready Plan ensures your critical information is always within reach and readily shareable. Don't wait for the crisis. Visit your app store and download Ready Plan by Mad Gear today. Ready, set, plan. Ready Plan by Mad Gear, redefining preparedness for when SHTF. And use our code Casual Preppers for that discount.
Beautiful. Go.
They have
get
so
it.
much cool stuff.
They do.
Like planners. You got an app now. It's got everything.
It's crazy.
You should
man.
not have a plan.
Not exactly. So look, guys, genetic engineering, it's going to do some crazy things. It's going to redefine our food, our medicine, and in humans in some way, shape, or form. Humans. Preppers are going to have to decide whether to embrace or reject the biohacked survival method here. Controlling your own health, food sources is key in this type of thing. So as a listener challenge, think about this. If genetic engineering became mandatory for medical treatment, food, or even survival, would you embrace it or would you resist it? Understand what that is. Write down your response, your plan. Look into this stuff.
The whole purpose of this is not like we believe one way or another. We're just telling you to look ahead because this stuff's happening.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to make some decisions.
Yeah,
in the
it's
future.
great to be aware of this and have a thought process going right now before stuff hits in 10 years or whatever,
exactly.
right? Just understand.
Gene
it.
editing. CRISPR.
Yeah. I don't even know what they talking about.
KFC CRISPR.
Yeah, cool. CRISPR chickens. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, that would fool everybody.
Yeah.
I had no idea they had these modified. It just sounds good.
Yeah, I know. It does really
CRISPR
does.
breast.
We do have the latest battle box, though, we'd like to look at. Because why not?
Yeah.
Right? This is mission 123. 123. First item in the box is the Atwood rope, 1100 paracord. 100 feet of that stuff, man.
That's a ton of paracord,
yeah.
man. I don't think you need any more after that.
That's all you'll need for the rest of your life. How about the prepared 4X bamboo compressed towel tablets kit? These are cool.
That's complicated, but
I know,
it's
it's
not
hard,
that complicated.
Hard to say.
It's
easy
just a
to
wet wipe
use.
that you can make your underself.
Yeah. And then the Yuko Stormproof matches. These are probably my second favorite Stormproof matches.
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah.
They work. How about the VFX all-in-one filter?
This is pretty creative little filter.
You can never have enough filters. Water filters.
Yeah, it's easy to use, gravity fed. Attach any water bottle to it.
Yeah, just feed it some gravity. Then we have the DEFCON 5 pack. This is a backpack. The backpack queen was happy about this.
I always gotta love me a backpack.
There you go. You got it.
Oh, that's a little
backpack.
nice back
pouch.
support thing on there.
That's right. And then for the Pro Plus knife of the month, the Sip Grande knife by Condor Tool and Knife. This thing will cut off an elephant's tail. One fell swoop.
Panda head clean off.
That's right.
Chop that panda head clean off.
Yeah, that's right.
Or whoever's in that panda suit.
Whoever's in that panda suit's getting cut.
That's a cool blade.
It's a
I
cool
like
blade.
the old, like the
Yeah.
steel.
Anyways, use our
I'm
code
cutting fingers.
Casual Preppers. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you've hit subscribe. Send us to your friends. Also, go check out our other podcast. This podcast is a secret because we're doing some cool stuff over there too. Thank you so much and stay survived.